when it comes to DJs, you have to stay consistent. Some artists will, try to link with a DJ to get their songs played, and you won't hear from them again. Consistency is a big thing, and consistency makes, good chemistry.
You are now listening to the BV Mobile Apps Podcast. The show is designed to help you grow your mobile app audience and get advice from experts in your industry. Now, here's your host, Sean Garvey.
Good day, everyone. Welcome to the BV Mobile Apps Podcast with your host, the architect, Sean Garvey. Thank you so much for tuning in to the podcast. Now, I want to let you know that towards the end of the podcast, we're going to give you information on how you can get your app customized through BV Mobile Apps. So please stay tuned towards the end of the podcast for more information on how we can customize your app today. In the meantime, we have another special guest joining with us on the BV Mobile Apps Podcast, a professional DJ. He got into the chop and screw movement many years ago, made a success out of that, and he also had the opportunity to work alongside West Coast superstar rapper The Game. And today's theme is all about the DJs and the artists, how DJs can build a relationship with artists and other DJs in the industry. So joining with me on the BV Mobile Apps Podcast is DJ Bigg Rich. Hey, DJ Bigg Rich, how's it going?
What's going on, my brother?
Well, good. And thank you for taking time out of your busy schedule to join us here to educate DJs on how to build relationships with artists and DJs in the industry. And you have a very impressive record as a DJ, being that you got yourself involved in the chopped and screwed movement, and you had the opportunity to work with people like OG Ron C, who's also a part of the chop and screw movement. And like I said, we are talking about how DJs can build relationships with artists and other DJs in the industry. So before we get into that, I want to talk a little bit about your history, because from the point where you was making mix CDs and getting into the DJ game, I know it was a bit of a struggle at first, but you actually blew up on the internet when MySpace at the time was putting a lot of artists and DJs on the map. So let's talk about your history behind that and how you got to where you are at today.
Okay. As far as like the MySpace days and stuff like that, I was basically just doing chop and screw mixtapes and giving them away just for the hell of it, because I love the culture, you know what I mean? And once I seen that people, love the movement as much as I do and will pay for this, so this is when I started to, sell mix CDs. And from there, it just went from the MySpace was a platform. I was just using that platform to, get the CDs out more and more and more and more. And I didn't know at the time, but I was, building my fan base like as I was going. Mm-hmm. Just trying to, get mix CDs out to people and make some money. The whole time I was building a fan base.
What is so interesting is back to the chop and screw movement. When you think of chop and screw, you think of people like DJ Paul Wall and Mike Jones, and just a few others, Slim Thug, to name a few. And it just still became so popular to this very day. Like, if you go on to internet radio stations or even some of the radio stations here in the country, you still hear that chop and screw sound. At one point, did you ever think that chop and screw was going to get to the next level in hip hop? Have you ever imagined that it was going to become so big, just like it still is now?
Yeah, and it's crazy that you said DJ Paul Wall. Most people don't know that Paul Wall was DJing, but that was a good little gem. But when I was doing the chop and screw mix CD, when I was in love with the culture and involved with that whole movement, I knew it was going to be huge one day, because nothing stays underground forever. You know what I mean? So, I knew that, at one point somebody was going to break it open and people were going to pick up on it. It was going to be popular. But, I didn't think it would be as crazy as it was. You know what I mean? As far as being a big influence to, the hip hop culture scene, as far as like producer sampling, making slow beat, you know what I mean? Just kind of like I didn't know it was going to be that big in that nature as far as being a part of the hip hop scene. But I knew it was going to be, a big thing because, like nothing stays, underground forever. Sometimes, stuff will stay underground, but, somebody will come and break it out and make it mainstream or, just popular.
From making money off of burning CDs to getting that buzz on MySpace in 2008, it went from those two different scenarios to getting the attention of The Game, one of the most popular and influenced artists in the industry. And so with The Game, along with his tour DJ, what was that like? What was that moment like for you in your career to be on the same stage or in the same space as The Game?
That part of my career was like basically all right, you are officially a DJ, you officially have a buzz, and it's time for you to like take it super serious. And the way that he called win, I was just on a good streak, and the mix CDs I was doing was starting to get popular with people that I was selling them to. But when I started figuring out how to, post it online as far as MySpace, the covers, and get them on mixtape sites like that, my mix CDs became more kind of popular than the DJs that's been out for a long time, chopping and screwing and all that. And by me getting that buzz off those mixtapes, I was able to get nominated for, Chop and Screw Awards and stuff like that. So I think Game had signed a new artist by the name of Black Boy. He went by the name of Black Boy. He signed him to, Game signed him to Black Wall Street. And he's from the South. So he had put out a CD, and he wanted a Chop and Screw version. And at that time, if you got on the internet and you Googled, Chop and Screw mixtapes, I was pretty much at the top of the food chain, right next to Michael 5000 Watts and OG Ron C. So, you can go get them if you want to. But if you want to save a little money, there's a DJ right there, Bigg Rich, that's, up there with them. They don't charge as much as them. And, he ended up, Game's artist ended up going with me for his mix CD to get Chop and Screw. I chopped and screwed it. He got nominated for a hella awards. Game caught wind of it and was like, yo, this DJ needs to be, every good label and good crew got to have a crew of DJs with an S. You know what I mean? Not just one, but you need DJs. So, The Game's DJ, his tour DJ, and The Game kind of was like, yo, we need this little young dude, you know what I'm saying? Tom Holmes, young dude, you know what I'm saying? We need this young dude on our squad, you know what I'm saying? If he doing it like that. And that's how I became part of Game's label, Black Wall Street, for a good year and a half, 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
And after I was a part of that, that's when the fan base just went crazy. That's where a lot of my fan base came from.
And just getting that stamp of approval from The Game, an artist that a lot of new rappers have looked up to, especially on the West Coast, says a whole lot. Especially as a DJ from Oklahoma, you ended up becoming the #1 DJ in Oklahoma. So just all those different accolades to your name says it all right there. And I'm glad you mentioned that part of your DJ career, because today's theme, of course, like I mentioned earlier in the program, is that we want to educate DJs on how to build relationships with artists and other DJs in the industry like you have. So let's go ahead and peel those layers and break all that down, because there are some new DJs that are out there, especially those that are listening to the BV Mobile Apps podcast, and they don't know how to build a great relationship with a recording artist or with other DJs in the industry. There are just plenty of DJs that are out there that love the craft, love what they do. They go in, they do what they do, but they don't have no connection. They don't have no connection to the artist or to the other DJs to help take them to the next level. So let's talk about phase one of the process. What is it that a DJ must have in order to make those kind of connections with artists and DJs in the industry?
Well, one, you need to understand that everything is now, transferred over to social media. So, you know what I mean? As far as like, you need to have you don't have to have a strong presence, but you need to have some kind of presence online. You know what I mean? You got to have a presence on social media to let people know who you are first. And two, I'm old school, man. I'm all about getting on the road, going to different cities, talking to these artists face to face, talking to these DJs face to face, because I was told by Coach K from QC. I met Coach K at South by Southwest, and he told me something that really stuck with me. And what he said was, in order for somebody to remember you, as a DJ, as an artist, or whatever, they have to see you face to face at least 3 times.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? At least 3 times. I might see you out at an event, and I might look at you, I might, notice you. Second time, I might be like, yo, I've seen this dude before somewhere. I can't put my finger on it. But I see him somewhere, but that third time, you're going to be like, that's that dude I keep seeing. You know what I'm saying? And that really stuck with me. So I kind of use that as in like, to make a presence and to, lock in with artists and DJs. You really gotta, in my opinion, you gotta, pull up on them, go to conferences, go to, whatever industry events is going on, just pull up, get the knowledge, lock in with people, you know what I mean, and do it the old school way. And on top of that, having your social media, presence at the same time.
Mm-hmm. Speaking of social media, like I said, it was about MySpace at the time. That's how you blew up on MySpace. And now Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram has taken over, and it has really made the careers of so many people, just in general, not just only DJs, but artists, comedians, actors, actresses, you name it. And the most important 3 are, of course, the Facebook, Twitter, and the Instagram. Let's talk about social media presence. What advice and or tips can you give to DJs about the type of presence they have to have on social media? Because you can't just put anything out there on social media, right?
Right. What I always tell fellow DJs and stuff like that don't know what to post on their social media and little things like that is like, you got to look at the way I look at my social media is my business card. You know what I mean? And when I say that, it's like, only thing that's going to be on my social media is me personally and what I'm doing. You know what I mean? As far as if I'm DJing in the club, and the club is going crazy, somebody's got to be next to you to get that video for you to put that on your Instagram so they can be your business card. So when people go look you up as a DJ and see what kind of presence you got, they see this crowd going crazy, they see you DJing here and there, that's not your business card. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So I always say post what you're doing. You know what I mean? Who you linking in with. You know what I mean? That's another thing too. When you're traveling to do conferences and doing what you're doing, and you're getting these pictures with people, that's good for your social media too. Because if somebody go, and search you, they see you with, Jay-Z or, a picture of you with Jay-Z. They see you tearing up the clubs. That's a great business card for you.
When people say that numbers don't lie, that's another important point that many of us bring up, especially when it comes to social media. And so when I go on social media and I see people's post of what they're doing as part of their profession, I also look at the number of hits and the numbers of people that tune in to that video or have looked at that post. But is it really important to have a certain number on social media for DJs to advance?
I would say no, not necessarily, because at the end of the day, like I said, your social media is really just your business card. You know what I mean? Like I still believe in grinding. You know what I mean? Hard work and having a mouthpiece. You know what I'm saying? Like you could have 2,000 followers, or you could have 100 followers on Instagram, but if you can get up and go to these clubs and bars and talk to people, like talking, you know what I mean? Usually your mouth is very, you know what I mean, efficient, more than social media, in my opinion. So, you know what I mean? As long as you can get on your grind and get out there and travel and link in with people and talk, it don't matter what the numbers look like, you know what I mean? So, you know, the numbers is always good, though, you know what I mean? So when you get in the position of you're looking to get, you know, sponsors, or you're looking to do big events, and, you know, a lot of people do look at numbers. But at the same time, I know a guy that got, you know, 2,000 followers on Instagram and following 2,000 people. They can get the same gig you can get because he get out there and grind. And he talk and go find out who is who, and you know, get it in that way too. So, you know what I mean. Numbers can be a good thing and a necessary thing at the same time.
For those who are just tuning into the BV Mobile Apps podcast, I am talking to DJ Bigg Rich, the #1 DJ in Oklahoma, who had the opportunity to join forces with West Coast rapper The Game. And so The Game, speaking of which, great segue. The Game, you teamed up with him on the You Know What It Is Volume 4 project. And so there's a DJ out there that wants to work alongside with either his or her idol, or work with that person who has a household name or a very big brand that could help them get to the next level in their career. So the next part of the interview I want to ask you is, as far as the process of working alongside with an artist, what does that process look like? Because sometimes in the industry, in order for you to connect with a big name artist, you have to go through this person, you have to go through a publicist, or you have to go through a manager. Is that what the process look like, or does the DJ deal with the artist directly?
See, this goes back to like what I was saying earlier about just hard work and, you know, putting in footwork and just staying on your grind, because the game situation happened without me even going. I never approached the game about anything, you know what I mean? I never even asked to chop and screw that album they put out or none of that. It all came from me basically just staying on my grind, you know what I mean, and working hard. And when I got the opportunity to work with his artist, I put my all into it. You know what I mean? So, you know, if you see somebody putting the all into your artist, you're going to be like, well, yeah, I want him to do that for me. You know what I mean? I want him to chop and screw my project. You know what I mean? So that's kind of how that happened with the game. I didn't go through any management, nothing like that. He just seen the name everywhere. He seen the grind. And I was already, you know, in his circle because of his artist. So it was just like, come on, let's do it. Let's do it. And, you know, when somebody give you an opportunity like that, you know, a big name artist like that, you gotta keep the door down. You know what I mean? You can't have do it. You gotta kick that door down and put your all into it like you know, never had before. So that's what I did with that project. When I got my opportunity, I picked it up and ran with it. And, you know, and that's basically, it was a wrap from right there.
I know a big thing when it comes to working alongside with a very big name person is that the chemistry has to be there. Everybody is not meant to work with everybody. The chemistry can be a very great experience, a great bond between an artist and a DJ, or it could be a uncompromised situation to where, you know, now you either burn bridges with this person, or you hear about it in the industry like, oh, it was so difficult, it was so hard to work with this person because of this particular issue or this particular matter. So let's talk about chemistry. What is the right kind of chemistry that an artist must have with the DJ in order to have a great working with relationship?
I always tell artists that when it comes to DJs, you have to stay consistent. Some artists will try to link with a DJ to get their songs played, and you know you won't hear from them again. Like you'll see them and you won't hear from them again. Like consistency is a big thing, and consistency makes good chemistry. If I'm going to a DJ to play my record, I'm a make sure I come to his events. You know what I mean? I'm gonna show up to all his events that he do, and I'm gonna support him on the back end. And once somebody see you supporting them, they're gonna support you right back. And that's where the chemistry comes in. Because when y'all finally do business and link up for a project, all that stuff comes back into the memory and in the play. Like, this dude came out and messed with me at all my events. You know what I mean? And he rocking with me. You know what I mean? So now we can do business, and we can do a great project. And then you'll hear it in the music, you'll hear it in the mixtape or whatever they do, a playlist or whatever they got going. You'll hear the chemistry like that. So I think consistency with networking is very important.
Let's talk about networking. I'm glad you transitioned into that. We always talk about networking in the industry among DJs and other professionals in the industry. And so with networking, you mentioned earlier that social media is your business card. Now, as far as networking goes, do you have to tell people, hey, follow me on this particular page or on that particular page, or are business cards necessary to help you network or build a relationship with that person in the industry?
Everything is necessary. Everything. Business cards. I have business cards. I have stickers. I even have a QR code on my phone that you can scan with your phone and go to my social media. It's all about, so you wanna be networking in every way possible. Like the grind, you want the numbers, everything. So if you really want to do this and you really want to get your name out there and get the buzz, you got to have everything, from the flyers to the stickers to the business cards to, even if you got some merch, bring yourself on your merch. You know what I mean? So all that is part of, how you get your numbers. You know what I mean? People that got big numbers, they put that work in, that grind in. You know what I mean? They constantly got something they networking with. So when they run into somebody, you got something for somebody to follow. Or you got important people that's going to follow whoever you give your info to.
Yeah, I mean, even I think it's important is to still have business cards. I know some people would say, oh, I don't do business cards anymore because I give it to that person and all they do is throw it away. Or they just don't want to put in the extra effort or the extra coins to purchasing or investing into business cards. What do you say to those naysayers that do feel like business cards are not necessary in today's industry?
No, everything promo wise is necessary. No matter if you feel like this person's going to throw that business card down or not, you still got, out of those 10 people, you still got 7 that's going to not throw those down. You know what I mean? And now that we in the social media era, some people are gonna throw them down. They're gonna get the information. They're gonna get the information, and they're gonna type it in their phone, and they don't need to get this card no more. But at least they got that paper to remind them. Not everybody got time to stand in one spot and type in your social media or anything like that. They're gonna probably put that card in their pocket, and you know what I mean. And it also depends on who you giving your card to. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like business cards are very personal. You know what I mean? I'm going to give my business card to, important people. I might give them out to everybody, but when you give them out to everybody, you got that I might get it thrown down type of, you'll get that kind of vibe. But, when you're around business people and you're dealing with businessmen, it's always important to have a business card. It makes you look professional. It shows the consumer that, you know what I mean, you are an actual business instead of, just somebody out here just doing whatever. You know what I mean? So business cards are important, and all promo is important. And business card is a small piece of it. But I definitely carry business cards, and I definitely, use them to give to important people at this point in my career.
Yeah, very important. Now, going back to your time of working with the game, looking back at it, because we all see it as a very lucrative opportunity for you in your career. But if you had to go back, and this is something for DJs to know going into this part of the industry, going back and looking back at it, like what are some of the things you say you would change about working alongside with the game? Would you change anything at all, or was there a teachable moment in your career where you could have done something differently?
I don't think I would change anything. Me get a chance to work with him. It really created me um, a personal fan base that stuck with me since that era. Since he was on top and doing his thing, a lot of those people that I guess, kind of moved on from, because people move on from artist to artist when you do the music thing. So some of the people that moved on, a lot of them, stuck around as my personal, following and fans and stuff like that. So, you know what I mean? I like the way that I did it, and I don't think I would change anything. I would do the same grind all over again.
We talked about the game, and of course, is millions and even on top of millions of artists that are out there in the industry that you could possibly potentially see yourself working alongside with. And so in the industry at times we have some DJs that look up to their idol, or they become very starstruck. And when they become starstruck, it could at times be problematic. When it comes to doing business with that idol, they may not come off like you pictured it in your mind. But what do you say to an aspiring artist who can easily be starstruck by a celebrity, and they get that opportunity to work with that person that they could see as their idol? Like, what kind of advice can you give to a DJ who has that starstruck mentality?
You really just gotta, in my opinion, you really just gotta move around a lot and really just constantly, link in with people and be in situations where you get like concerts and stuff like that, where you're around these big name artists, and off of experience, you'll start learning how to deal with people. You know what I mean? Like if a Rod Wave or Kevin Gates is doing a show, and you want to get on your network and stuff, you get up, go network, see if you can get a chance to meet these people and go through it. You know what I mean? Go through how artists deal with DJs or how they deal with people, and you'll start. It'll start wearing away to the point where it's like, these is regular people, like just like me.
Mm-hmm.
Like, they're no different than me. They just, regular street dudes with money. You know what I mean? So I think experience will help you deal with, celebrities, and get that kind of, idea out your head that, I'm starstruck by this artist or that artist. You know what I mean? So it's just moving around, being on your ground once again, and being in situations where you get to deal with these big name artists and stuff like that.
And it is always important as well to keep your professionalism intact, because that could easily cost you your career big time. It's all about going in and focusing on the craft and making sure that the artist that you represent looks good, and the artist is making you look good as well too. You all complement each other. So that comes with the process of getting to the next level as a DJ, when you're building relationships with other artists in the industry, as well as other artists, or other DJs, I should say, in the industry. Now let's switch gears from artists to DJs. We've seen it so many times in the industry of DJs working alongside with other DJs and building that relationship with each other to where now we see organizations and coalition groups build network of DJs working together. The chemistry between a DJ and another DJ is might be seen a little bit different from a DJ and an artist. Is so. What is that difference? What is that difference between a working relationship between a DJ and another DJ versus a DJ and another artist?
I mean, the DJ and the artist in a situation is a little different because at the end of the day, the artist is, is pushing music and they're looking to do business. So, that relationship is going to be more on the lines of, we're creating a relationship, but at the same time, this is mostly business. And, dealing with a DJ, it's like we do the same thing. We're going for the same goals. We're trying to accomplish, the same kind of things. We can hang out and have a actual relationship. You know what I mean? Like, we can go to the club together. We can work on mixes together. We can do stuff like that. So it's more, the DJ relationship is a little bit more personal. And plus, DJs are kind of like fraternities. You know what I mean? Like if you're a DJ that like to network and be on your craft, DJs are like a fraternity. They look out for each other. They put each other on money. You know what I mean? Stuff like that. And if you're an artist that's not really receptive to DJs, the DJs will in other places will know about it. You know what I mean? Because, like I said, these are like a fraternity. Artists and DJs more like we're trying to accomplish the same goals as well, as far as good money and having a good career. But at the same time, at the end of the day, it's business. And not saying the DJ and DJ relationship ain't business, but it's more personal because we do the same thing.
As we're getting ready to come to a close with the podcast, with today's theme, how DJs can build relationships with DJs and other artists, what would a DJ need to do? What will a DJ need to do to make sure that he or she has longevity in the industry after the relationships have been built with the artists, after the relationship has been built with the other DJs? What does a DJ have to do or have to have some type of longevity in the industry?
You just gotta make sure that first off, whoever you do business with, you do good business every single time. I'm a person that likes to, take care of people when they're in my vicinity, my city, my state, stuff like that. Be active as much as possible as far as moving around, touching the people, not only just touching the DJs and artists, make sure you're touching the people and make sure you are, making good relationships in the business. And you'll be a DJ that's around a long time because once people see your character as being that kind of person that does good business, that shows love, that takes care of people, they'll look out for you whenever you need to be in a certain situation. You can always call for a favor, and you can always you'll always be that first person they look for when it's something that's in your realm. But yeah, doing good business with people and staying solid is the number one thing for longevity in this game.
Great information to share with our listeners today. Now, before we let you go, DJ Bigg Rich on the BV Mobile Apps podcast, of course, we cannot let you go without talking about your app. Your app, courtesy of BV Mobile Apps, it is definitely a go-to place for all things considered mixes and music. Care to share a little bit of what your app has to offer and what else people can expect when they go and download your app?
Okay. Basically, if you are a music lover, period, my app is basically just the radio. I would call it the radio, but mixing. And when I say mixing, it's, blend, take you on a journey, actual DJing on my app. And what makes my app different than a lot of different DJs that I've done with mine is I'm doing variety mixes. I'm doing, old school R&B versus new school R&B. I got a whole Chris Brown mix on my app. I got, all future mixes. And I'm going to different DJs and I'm telling them, do a mix for me with your flavor. I'm going to upload it to my app so people can have different flavors from different DJs, from different states and, different areas. And that just came to me. I just wanted to make sure I had like a radio station feel with actual DJing, like all that. You know what I mean? And shout out to, the BV Mobile apps there for, being a really user-accessible app, to help me put that together.
Absolutely. And I know a lot of people that are listening to you right now, listening to us converse, they are definitely looking forward to downloading the app either on their Android or their iPhone to hear some of your great art, some of your great music, great mixes, and so much more. So with that being said, before we let you go, one more question. What else can people expect from DJ Bigg Rich? Any upcoming projects, any upcoming events you are getting ready to be involved in?
Yeah, I'm part of a few concerts that's coming up down here, and I got a few shows lined up. If you actually go to my mobile app and click on my profile, you can keep up with, all the mixes that I'm doing for the radio. I do this for like Shea 45 Sirius XM. You can go in there and click it. It'll take you to the radio stuff that I'm doing. It'll take you to my concerts, and also it'll take you to my YouTube page, and you can go watch a bunch of like a podcast that I got going on. I'm doing a bunch of interviews and stuff like that. So my app is really the hub for everything that I got coming up and coming out. So if you have the DJ Bigg Rich app, you'll be able to get that notification and know exactly every move that I'm making for the next few months.
So DJ Bigg Rich, how can people follow you? What's your social media handles? And if they want to get in contact with you, maybe for some events or even work with you, how can they reach you?
Instagram. Well, all my social media is the same, so you can follow me at DJ BIGG RICH on everything. Or like I tell people all the time, the best way to find out anything about me and contact me or to look up, any of my work, you can go to Google and type in DJ BIGG RICH, and everything should pop up to shows I've done, mixes I've done, on social media, everything. So go to Google, type in DJ BIGG RICH, everything should pop up.
All right, and I'm going to repeat it to the listening audience. Once again, follow him on all social media at DJ BIGG RICH. That's DJ Bigg Rich on all social media platforms. Well, DJ Bigg Rich, it sounds like you are at one of your events, and I know you have a very hectic schedule. So we really appreciate you for taking the time to speak to us right here on the BV Mobile Apps podcast, where today's theme is all about how DJs can build relationships with artists and other DJs in the industry. So we really appreciate it. Thank you so much, DJ Bigg Rich, and much success to you.
Thank you for having me, man. I appreciate y'all.
No problem. Ladies and gentlemen, that was DJ Bigg Rich on the BV Mobile Apps podcast with your host, Sean Garvey. Make sure you follow us at BV Mobile Apps on all your social media at BV Mobile Apps. And don't forget, ladies and gentlemen, if you want your app customized, all you have to do is go to bvmobileapps.com to to get your app customized by the kind folks at BV Mobile Apps. That's bvmobileapps.com. And don't forget to follow me on all your social media at Sean Garvey. That's Sean Garvey on Facebook and Sean Garvey ATL on Twitter and on Instagram. If you enjoyed today's podcast, make sure you send us an email to podcast@bvmobileapps.com. That's podcast@bvmobileapps.com. Until the next time, we will talk to you soon. Take care.
It's a new year. It's a new day. We're starting it over. Starting the day.
Thank you for listening to the BV Mobile Apps Podcast with your host, Sean Garvey. For more information about BV Mobile Apps, visit the website, bvmobileapps.com. Don't forget to follow BV Mobile Apps on social media at BV Mobile Apps. Tune in again next time on the BV Mobile Apps Podcast.